Hi, welcome back to the build of my Piper Cherokee, a kit that I got from DB Sport Scale. I've done the right hand wing and now I'm tackling the centre section. So we've got these braces that attach into the wings, and here's the fuselage mount. What I've done, as with the wing, I've dry mounted everything. This is a little bit of a jigsaw. It's all cut nicely, goes together quite nice, but it took a bit of thinking about to make sure I'd got everything in the right place. Not something I'd want to do while I'm trying to glue it, so it's a good exercise to do it dry first. I've also made some spacers, these little bits of balsa wood here, because this is where the last rib of the wing, inboard rib, will actually slot. So that will slot down there, and this is a bit of scrap balsa from the sheet that the wing rib came out of, so I know it's the right size. So when I glue it together, I'll make sure these four spacers are in, and then it should slot in. The wing should slot in nicely. I probably won't do this all in one gluing. I'll probably glue the plywood frame and then put the ribs in at a later period once the actual frame itself has dried. And the same with this rear piece as well. And also on the front of that, we've got the assembly there which locates into the fuselage to lock the wings in position. So, be nice to get this done. Few components, a little bit tricky to get some of the pieces in, but quite looking forward to doing this morning. And it's nice and cool here this morning. We had a lot of rain overnight, so it's only about 28 degrees now, and I've had my PVA in the fridge to keep it cool, so it's not starting to go off quickly like it has been doing. So I think I'll need that little bit of extra time in putting all this together. Okay. Okay, well, I think I've glued all I'm going to glue now. There's a couple of extra pieces to go on, side pieces which connect onto the second wing rib in when it's all slotted together, and I've still got a couple of ribs here to add, but I can't actually do those with the way the clamping is at the moment, so I'm quite happy to leave those along with the rest of the pieces, you know, for bolting the wing on and locating it at the front. I think I've done enough, and it's all in alignment. It's actually is it rhomboid shaped? No, rhomboid, trapezoid. Anyway, it's angled in at the back, so it's not square. So it's just making sure it's right, and I think that's okay. So I'll leave that now, and then I'll come back in a minute, well, in a couple of hours, and just glue the end bits on and finish that off. Okay, well, this is set now, and I've also added just these two end pieces on either end, which I hadn't done before because I'd got that many clamps on. I couldn't really clamp it, so I felt I would leave it, and that's been clamped and dried now. And I was just coming to put on the remaining ribs, and if you remember earlier I said that it was important when putting this rib on to leave a gap for the wing, the root rib to slide down, and I've got these spacers. Well, it occurred to me that before I put these ribs on, what I would do is get the wing and just make sure that actually it did fit. And it'd be a lot easier to test fit it at the moment without this extra rib in place that it's got to slot down very closely to. And I'm really pleased I've done that, because it does fit, but it's been a very tight fit, and it wouldn't seat down far enough so that essentially the bottom of the brace is level with this spar, which it has to be. So I had to just trim out a little bit of these slots here, and also, I don't know whether you can pick it up, that slot there. So now I think it's about right. It's a very careful process. You have to just inch it on very, very carefully, or something is going to break. And just checking it's going in square. Okay, well that is now in square. So, I don't know whether we can, it does just spring up a little bit, but I think if that's clamped now, I don't know whether the camera can pick that up, but this spar and this brace is now level, or it will be if I just put a little bit of a clamp on it. And the same with this one here. It's not, I've had it in and out several times to test fit it, and it's not something I would have liked to have done, trying to squeeze past this additional rib that is going to be in here. So what I think I will do is now glue that rib in, but now I can do it with the satisfaction knowing that actually it fits. Haven't done the other side yet. I'll go and do that now, and then I'll finish off gluing the ribs in the front and the rear. Okay, since I just filmed that last bit, I've been thinking about this and the tightness of the fit, and how difficult it is going to be once this rib here is in place to actually slide this wing on, because you need to work it a little bit. It's a very tight fit, and I can't see any advantage in putting this rib in place as it says in the plan, and finishing off the centre section, you know, with the bit for locking the wing in at the front, and also the bit at the back. I can't see any advantage of finishing that and then trying to slot the wing into this gap here. It's not as if it's going to position the wing, because the wing can't move either way, because these pieces of ply bracing are very tight within here. It's just going to make it difficult. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this centre section finished now for the moment, until I need to actually glue all the wings together to this central section, and I'm going to glue them in, and once the wing is set within there, I am then going to finish constructing the centre section. I just think that will be a much easier way. I can't see it will make a scrap of difference either to locating the wing onto the central section or anything really. So I may live to regret it, but that's what I'm going to do. I just think once this is in place, it's going to be very, very difficult to get this wing on and off. So that's what I'm going to do, and we'll see how it works. So before I do any more on this section now, I need to work on the servos, and that's going to be the next part of the project.